Hi, and welcome to Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Miss Victoria, and it's very special today because we have both co-hosts, Avian, say hi, and Robin.
Hola.
There we go. We got both of our co-hosts here, and we'll see if Misty would join us because we do have her 3 authors. If not, we are going to go ahead and let you know who those are if you haven't guessed already. So the topic is, just like it says, if I could have 3 authors for dinner, like who would you invite over for dinner, past, present, which author you would like. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with my first 3 authors. Make sure I get it on here. Okay. All right, my first 3 authors. Now, I always do a lot of supernatural and stuff, and those are the ones I like. First one, obviously, the queen of supernatural for me will always be Anne Rice. So I would love to have her over to dinner because there's a lot of questions I would like to ask about her Lestat series and also, of course, her witches, the Mayfair witches, and the fact that she was able to combine both of them in it wasn't Blood Can't Tell, I don't remember. I think it might be this one, that she actually combined the Mayfair, not Mona, but the sister who's the main one that Lestat falls in love with. And he actually gives her up. Surprisingly, he gives her up to stay with Michael, her husband, because he kind of helps with her power, with the power he has too. So I would like for her for that, because not only does she do vampires, and the vampire ones do have other supernaturals in the books, not just vampires, but she also did a werewolf one, which is interesting. And of course, she did do a different version of Sleeping Beauty, and the staff here knows it because we had those books. Well, I don't know if we have them all yet. I think they've been lost or something. But let's put it this way, it's way better and more than 50 Shades of Grey. It puts it to shame. But she has a different route, a different name though. Different name. I can't pronounce it, but it's a different name. Robin, do you know how I pronounce it?
That's Voculaire, isn't it?
See, I can never pronounce the end. It's A-N, and I can never pronounce the last name. Okay. That's her other name also. Second one, I came across her in, I don't know where, but must have been one of the series I was reading. They said, if you like this book, you might want to try this author. And that's how I got Cinda Williams Chima, 7 Realms. This is a book 1. It's the Demon King. She does do another series that we own. Haven't read that series. This is a series I preferred, and it does do with wizards, witchcraft, and it does have a lot of different magic involved in it. So I loved it. So that's a great one. I would like for her to be there because you get the supernatural with Anne Rice and have Cinda Williams next to her. That would be amazing. And then throw in Rick Riordan, who's in this whole other world of mythology, which I love, because he's done Greek, Roman, Norse, Egyptian, and he also helps other authors who are doing Indian mythology, and Africa, I think. He's done several other ones. So to have him there to get the mythology and the supernatural, I'm seriously, it's like an episode of Supernatural. That's where my dinner would be. I just need the 2 guys there too. I'm just saying that might be a bonus to have them. You know, Castiel, and then the other 2, the brothers. Robin agrees with me.
Definitely.
Right? I mean, come on. I mean, it'll be a bonus to have them with these authors. So these are my 3, and I'm glad that Misty joined us. And there, she's here because that's perfect, because we're going to cue into hers.
Oh boy.
There you go, Misty.
Oh yes. Okay, so Victoria, do you just want me to discuss the books, or why I would have them?
Yeah, why would you want them over for dinner?
Okay, so Stephen King, because I think he'd be a hoot. I just think he would be absolutely hilarious. To be able to just look at normal life, right? And to see the irony, and then just the little aspects that we experience every day of life that are just absolutely ludicrous, right? Stephen King puts a whole new twist.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I agree. But why Cujo?
Why Cujo? Why Cujo?
I'm a dog person.
Because
Why Cujo?
Cujo, the story itself, I mean, it really is just, it's ordinary life. And the dog wasn't doing anything. And I think the dog was being just a dog. And then it got rabies, right? Which dogs get all the time. And he just threw a really dark twist on everything. There's a beast hanging out there's a demon kind of hanging out and he's just influencing everybody's lives. And I just think that anybody who can see that in everyday life and just tell such a great story from it would be worth having.
I never read it. The
table.
movie traumatized me enough when I was little.
There's a story, there's a story out there floating on the internet, right? So who knows if it's true or right? What's the quote from Abe Lincoln? It's true because it was written on the internet or something like that. I think that's the funny picture that they post. But the story is he's in a line and somebody is just staring at him, some stranger, and they know who he is, but they don't know anything to say, right? And Stephen King goes, boo, right? And just scares him. I just love anybody who could be so humorous and just make light of the scary. I think would be really, really fun to have at a dinner table. He's also got some interesting views and really supports the libraries. And I think it would be so much fun to have him sit across from me at the dinner table and eat a meal that I cooked. And it would probably maybe even inspire the next horror story.
So you have Stephen King sitting now. You have two other interesting ones that you will be joining at your table?
Yeah, absolutely. So Kate Dicamillo, right? Kate Dicamillo she just writes the best stories. She writes some of my favorite stories. And Edward Tulane, it's the story of a rabbit who goes on a journey of his own and learns about abandoning his selfishness and just really what love really is. And I think that Kate Dicamillo shines a light on the beautiful things of everyday life, and they are just touching and heartwarming and beautiful. She doesn't put the horror spin on it, right? But she tells a wonderful story, and it just makes you feel good. These are stories that her stories are stories that I would read to my kids when they were young. And then when they got a little older, I forced them to sit down so that I could read the stories out loud to them, just so that I could hear her stories. That's how much I love Kate Dicamillo. My 10-year-old, he was just like, come on, Mom, And so I think this was actually, after this, I read to him The Magician's Elephant, and I forced him to sit through that. And it was totally worth it, because the stories she tells are just so wonderful and heartwarming. And she just shines another light on everyday life that is just wonderful. And so you've got Stephen King seeing the irony and poking, I think he pokes fun at the just how silly life can be. And Kate Dicamillo just brings out the beauty.
And the last one, who, from a cat's point of view, I do not like her book, because from a cat's point of view, it does not tell you how to kill a mockingbird.
Oh yes, Harper Lee. So fabulous story. I love the whole idea that to kill a mockingbird, Scout. I love Scout. I think she is absolutely wonderful, and her experiences and this patriarch in her life. Robin, help me.
Atticus,
just such a wonderful, wonderful man, right? And that under his care, Scout is able to experience a world. And I can see her marching through the field in a ham costume, trying to just go do something amazing. And she is an amazing person. And I love the idea that Scout is Harper Lee, right? This is her childhood. Now this book here, Go Set a Watchman, I like that you chose the book. It got a lot of flack. I personally like this book. The patriarch, right? Atticus, we all have our faults. And just keeping in mind that he existed in a world that is different from today's world and things were so new. He did the best he could to continue to be a patriarch, not only to Scout, but to those around them. And so this is at like Go Set a Watchman is set as things are starting to change. And so there's this clash of how we take care of people and what we can do for people so you have Atticus's view of the world set against Scout's, and how she wants to help people too and take care of people too, but she does it in a different way. And so I think that I like this story because Harper Lee, or Scout, right, sees the world for what it could be and wants to make it better, and wants to take all of these crazy characters that we get in Stephen King and the beauty that we have that Kate Dicamillo brings out in her stories. I just think that all three of them sitting down, eating the food that I prepared would be fabulous dinner conversation on what the world is and what it could be and how we get it there. And I think that these three would be great. I've contemplated what I would serve them.
I wouldn't know with mine. I think it's going to be something rare meat with mine. With supernatural authors, it's going to have to be something rare.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe barbecue, but maybe
ham.
Something different.
You would do that, Robin. You would do the ham.
I don't like ham.
That's messed up. Yeah. All right. So you kind of see so far that I'm more supernatural, and you kind of get an idea on Misty's.
I like all different kinds of things.
Some nice classic authors and some, I know, but you can see from the authors you pick kind of what we like. So let's kind of move on to our next one. I hope she's ready.
Is it me? I don't know.
I think it's probably the one that's saying, is it me? Yes, it's the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
see the difference.
Let's see. I know she said she doesn't read. She's starting to read more, right? So
a little bit
more. So let's see. Why did we pick these? And of course, I like them all. But let's go ahead. I would like to hear yours.
So yeah, you can see that my book taste right now is a little different from what everyone else has going on. I'm kind of stuck in between the things I read as a kid and the things I had to read in school, and now I kind of have to wait till I have time to read. But I picked Mo Willems. Not because I particularly like Mo Willems. He's a famous children's author. He writes the Elephant and Piggy series, very popular with kids, but his Pigeon series of books speaks to me on a spiritual level. It's about this pigeon that I guess is not allowed to do anything. He can't drive a bus. He can't stay up late. The pigeon, it looks always tired, and he
wants a hot dog.
Yeah, he wants a lot of things. He wants to drive the bus. He wants to do a lot of stuff. He doesn't want to sleep. So that is why I picked it. I would definitely ask Mo Willems what his inspiration is for these books. Is the pigeon fueled by, a time in his life where he had no sleep? Who are Elephant and Piggy based off of? Things like that. Kids love him. I just like the pigeon. Sailor Moon. Robin hates Sailor Moon, but I love it.
So do I.
Yeah, Sailor Moon, it's about friendship and overcoming hardships and magic, and everyone's cute and it's whatever. But Naoko Takeuchi herself, the author for Sailor Moon, she is like a trailblazer. She is the most successful female manga author, and she's married to the author of Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter. So they're this weird manga power couple.
Totally did not know that.
Yeah, they're married. And his stuff's on hiatus, but she's still going. She's making so much money off Sailor Moon as a franchise.
And they just they're doing a new movie on Netflix, or series, so they're bringing it back.
Yeah, they're bringing it because they did Sailor Moon Crystal. Yeah, Robin is dying over there as we talk about Sailor Moon, but it is a very heartfelt series, and I would like to. There's a quote from her that says that she modeled the girls in the story. She said that she wanted women like that to be her friends when she was growing up, and I think it's really sweet, and I think it's really cute, and I would love to just talk to her and definitely ask her how much money she makes, because
Might have one extra guest. I think I would be there. I just
So
I've
always
throw
wondered,
myself in there.
is sailing any part of it? I don't know, just from the
No,
name
is it-
alone,
is
I
the
thought that they were
uniforms?
like,
no, it's
No,
the
I think it's a
Pirates.
uniform.
yeah, so
It's
it's
just a
called the
uniform.
sailor uniform, even though it's not really. It's
Sailor
just because
is
of the
like
sailor collar.
sailor
so
is
the
kind of
Navy
like, I guess, the
meets sailing
title.
has nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
No,
sailing
because you
has
have like
nothing.
Sailor Venus. Yeah, Mars. That is just their suits. It's just like
So
the-
like in English it's Sailor Moon, but in Japanese it's they're called the senshi. So it's like pretty warriors. It's not really sailors, but I think they just adapted it from the
that's why it
sailor
says Pretty
collar.
Guardian Sailor
Yeah,
Moon.
Pretty Guardian, Shoujo Senshi, Sailor Moon. So yeah, there's a lot of
Okay.
nostalgia there.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuck. It works. And then the last one, this is the only like real, like novel author, Henry James. Oh, Misty's gone. Henry James, because Henry James is the one who wrote The Turn of the Screw. He's written some other things that I had to read during school, like Daisy Miller, things that I don't remember, but I remember really liking his stories, and Turn of the Screw in particular, because I took a whole class on like uncanny, like American homes, and we read this, and in the end, it's so open-ended. So do you either believe that the ghosts are real, or is the governess just like hallucinating? She thinks she's crazy. I don't know. Like, what if they were real? Like, there's a lot to unpack and explore.
She's like that little kid from The Sixth Sense. He saw dead people.
Yeah, I mean, Miles in this book is creepy. He's not okay. And then I had also watched the Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix.
I haven't finished that one. I'm like,
You need to finish it. You need to finish it.
I do.
So
I
good.
do.
Which just took the Turn of the Screw and adapted it in a very interesting, like modern day retelling. So that's why I pick Henry James.
Okay, ready, Robin? We gotta save the best for last. So I picked last, Robin. All right, here we go, Robin.
Okay. The biggest problem I had was picking 3 authors because there's just so many that I would want to talk to. But I had to go with Rimbaud. Even though probably if he was sitting at my table, he'd be probably doing something really awful and horrendous, like spitting in his milk and things. He was very rude, but then again, he was 17. But he wrote poetry that is sublime. It turned France on its ear. He himself had a very chaotic experience. By the age of 19, he stopped writing altogether and wandered the world and ended up in Africa. But he never wrote any poetry. He wrote his poetry between 15 and 19, and it's just the most phenomenal poetry ever. Synesthesia. It was the beginning of the modern poetry. He was the first modern poet. So his just, if you're going to read a translation, because of course it was all in French, if you're going to read a translation, read the Wyatt Mason translation, and we have a copy of that in the Central Library. I think after I did all the research, he by far, I think, encapsulates, can't speak, what I think Arthur was really saying. But it's beautiful. He himself, if he was sitting at my table, I'd probably want to slap him. But he's genius. How can you can't mess with genius. He, at 17, was incredibly intelligent. Okay, the second one, the Magpie Lord, KJ Charles. This is something I just recently read, and to this point right now, I've read this series at least 10 times, over and over and over again.
Wow.
This woman, she lives in England. She's a historian and a book editor, but her degree was in history. it's so historically accurate for a world that includes magic as an everyday thing. Not everybody has it, but they call practitioners. And this one gentleman is coming from China. This is the 1880s, 1890s England. She has it down for a person who's never been to Asia, never been to China. She's got China down. It's incredible. The story there, it's a mystery. There's supernatural going on, yet it's set in a very normal English milieu, if you want to put it.
Well, that's got my attention.
And it's very, very, there's 3 books right now in the series, possibly more. But I couldn't put them down. I had to buy them because I bought them online. It was like, I got to read more. And I read all 3. And then there's extension novels, ones that side characters she's got going on. I had to get those too. But I must have read the Charm of Magpies 1, 2, and 3 at least 10 times now. I probably could recite it. That's how much I like this author. And she has a chat room, and I've gotten on there a few times, and she's very interesting to talk to. She's she's stupidly smart. Does that make sense? It just makes, I feel that I don't know anything, but she's really easy to talk to. But I highly recommend this series. Highly, highly. It's that good.
I'm tempted now to look into that.
And I would love to have her at my table because I would love to talk to her, or I'd be just sitting there going, talk to me. Because she just sees everything, and she has an opinion on everything too, and so do I. So it'd be good. And then we could be both yelling at Rimbaud. Now, the last one is a love-hate relationship.
Another one.
Diana Gabaldon she makes me so angry, but I love her books. But finally, the last book is coming out in November. Finally.
The wait is over.
The wait is over.
I've got a feeling it's not going to be over because there's no way she's going to tie in all her threads that she left hanging from the last book and in one book end them all. I have favorite characters, and if she kills them off, I'm going to demand, I want to know why. So if she was at my dinner table, I'd be like, why won't you let people write pastiche? Why don't you like fan fiction? I mean, she hates it. She will sue you.
I don't blame if you're that much into your art of the characters you pick. I could have sent some saying like all the work I went into these characters, and then you're doing something I don't. But then again, at the same time, it doesn't hurt to look at different versions. She's the
one that's done all the work, and they're her characters, and she can write them however she wants, and basically to hell with the rest of us. And I think that kind of bothers me because reading as much Japanese stuff as I have, they really look at fan fiction as an honor, and she does not. But beside that point, I think
she popped out of nowhere.
And she's so in depth in her historical. She gets that's why it took her 10 years to write this last book. But everything is historically accurate. It's just we have to wait too long in between. I want to sit her down and go, why?
It's just like those people who were like pitchforking George R. Martin for his. So, it's the same thing. They're like, write more, write faster.
Yeah, I could just see that having those 3 at my table would be very interesting. We'd probably all be attacking Arthur Rimbaud because he'd be acting like a juvenile delinquent, and the rest of the like, how can you write such beautiful things? But it would be a very interesting dinner, and I'm sure we'd order pizza because I wouldn't want to have to waste the time to cook. I'd be like, pizza, let's stop.
Create your own topping, people. Create your own pizza.
Some of you'd at least make dessert for them.
I would make dessert, but pizza.
Death by chocolate.
My time. I want it. These people I know have very interesting points of view that I want to argue with. So that's what I'm looking for.
Great dinner guest. Okay, so remember, all of these can be found on at one of the branches. I know you might find different books, but by the authors. Some of them that I'm showing you, we don't physically have in the branch, but at least you get the author's name, and you can look them up and see where we have them. We're going to go quickly to move on to our Hoopla, and these are some of the authors we chose and the books that are available on Hoopla. Like from Rick Riordan, I have my Percy Jackson, The Greek Heroes, is a giant book. We also have it in the branch. Misty's, I threw that in there because I still don't care that. I mean, I like Scout, but the title, ever since I saw that meme with the cat, it's always going to stick with me. Doesn't tell you how to kill a mockingbird, but it is a great book. Don't get me wrong, I like the book, and I love the fact that they did the movie in black and white. It's always been my favorite. Of course, Henry James, we got Avians. Henry James, these are ghost stories by him. There's a whole bunch on there, actually, on him, a lot on Hoopla. So it's fun to toy around on Hoopla for that. And of course, there's another one. I like that one, A Season in Hell, author Rimbaud.
Oh, La Saison d'Enfer. It's fantastic.
That'd be perfect. There's a lot surprising on Hoopla of these two, Henry James and Arthur Rimbaud. I found actually a lot of them on there on Hoopla. So that's really great for y'all to try out. Check on Hoopla. If you can't find the physical book, go on Hoopla for these two that Avian had picked and Robin. Of course, mine and Misty's you can find on Hoopla, and of course you can find it on our shelves as well at any of the branches.
You know, another thing about the Stephen King books, as audiobooks, they're phenomenal. If there's a lot of language in the Stephen King books, but he has some great readers. I think Will Patton is one of his readers, and it's just a great narration of his stories. Really good.
That's
And
another
I
thing
think
too.
Who is the guy who played Dexter?
God, what's his name?
Hall.
Oh, Michael. Is it Michael Hall?
There you go. That's not the guy from the Breakfast Club, is it?
No, that's Anthony Michael Hall.
Gotcha. At any rate, he narrates some of those books as well. Very good. And the guy from the Breakfast Club was in one of Stephen King's made-for-TV series, The Dead Zone. The Dead Zone?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop now.
Michael Hall was in that one? That's him?
Yeah, he was that as an adult, you look at him and you're like, wow, is that the same person?
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him recently. He doesn't look the same as he did. Let's see, Access 360. Now, remember, in Access 360 is just your ebooks and audio. There's the other one I did, Anne Rice. This is her Wolf series that she did. I picked her for that one because I wanted to show the different one. For Misty's,
I've never read those.
Book.
Are those good? The Wolf series?
The Wolf series is actually really good for her when she changed. I think she wrote it after she she stopped when she found God.
Right.
And then because she had a death in the family and she found God after that.
Well, we all go through cycles.
Yes, and she actually came back to being an atheist. She started writing.
Is she an atheist?
Yes.
Is she?
She was, and then she found God, and then people were like, the vampire, they're like, hey, we want some books here.
Now she's back writing the vampire stuff again. First, she did The Wolf, and then she continued Lestat's. She did a couple more under Lestat's.
I think the last Lestat one I read was it Memnoch? I think Memnoch.
Memnoch, that's like the fourth one or something like that.
It's been a while for me since I've read Anne Rice.
Yeah, they finally ended it. I think it's officially ended with the last one. But she wrote this.
Books, are they tied? Are the Wolf books tied to the vampire books at all?
No, completely separate. Completely separate. Surprisingly, it's separate. The only one she ever tied in was the Mayfair Witches with Lestat, and that's because she wrote those first before the vampire ones. But that's why I chose her, to give you people a different side of her. And I chose Misty's because I love the movie and I love the book. That was one of my childhood favorite ones because of Winn-Dixie. Love it. Love the movie. Who doesn't love a dog that actually smiles? It's talented, honestly. And for Avians, I thought it was just hilarious because I love naked mole rats. So I chose The Naked Mole Rat Gets Dressed by Mo Willems. I see he has his pants, shirt, tie, shoes, he even has underwear. Yeah,
Good for him.
he's getting ready to get dressed, although he's confused probably because he's used to being naked.
He should embrace the way he's supposed to be, but it's okay.
He should embrace being a naked mole rat. I agree. I totally agree. Robin's, I chose that one just because I like the character Jamie and he looks good in his outfit. I'll be honest, that's why I chose that cover one. Sorry.
Yep.
I don't know if that's the book you like, The Dragonfly and Amber, but I just went because I love the characters. This cover shows pretty much the majority of the characters that are on this show. So that's why I chose that one. I don't know about it. I've never read the series. I've watched the show on Stars a couple times. Haven't finished it.
Okay.
Haven't read the books yet. Planning
As
to.
a person who's read the books, I'm not impressed with the exception of Sam Hugan, who's just like perfect as Jamie.
You gotta love Graham McTavish.
Well, okay, but he's not on it for very long. Actually,
true.
his character kind of gets woof fast.
True.
But it really cuts so much out of the books that here you've got the book like this, and they're doing much of it, and it really
here's Game of Thrones, and here's the show.
The same thing. There's so many characters in this book or in this series that I had to actually write them down in a notebook because I was getting lost at who the heck is this person, and
I believe it.
Going, and then you find that people from like the second novel are popping out in like the 8th novel, and all of a sudden they're really important, and I'm going, who is this person? Wait a minute, I gotta go back. So
I don't know, this series, I've never read it, but it kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones, which I haven't read either, I'll be honest. I have the books pretty much, but I just haven't started them. But I know when he wrote the books for Game of Thrones, he intentionally wrote that series that it would not be made into a movie or a show. He intentionally made it because he's like, there's no way anybody can do it with the characters and everything that he put into it. And then here came HBO saying, hey, we're going to make a show out of it. So, of course, they cut a lot out of the books, which he was actually surprised. And I'm not surprised with hers. I'm more sure she intentionally made it just for like him, and somehow they decided to do, hey, we're going to do a show.
To be honest with you, I'm really surprised that she gave away enough control because she's a control freak.
Yeah, and she doesn't like fan fiction. So yes, it is a shocker on that one.
To not have control over how my characters are portrayed. And that's another thing when she comes to dinner I want to talk about. That she is annoyed about certain things about the television show as I am, but I don't know.
I'm more than sure she is. Not as Charlene Harris. She just like, they can do what they want. I wrote the books and they changed this character. This one was dead in the book. It was dead, and here it's alive. Don't you have a problem with that? No, because I wrote the books. I'm just making money off of the show.
Yeah.
So, I love her. I love the fact that she's like, I'm just making money off the show.
So Southern in that way. It's like,
pretty much. Gotta love her. Now let's go ahead and just remind you all, as always, I hope you enjoyed this, but I want you to remember to visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Corpus Christi Public Libraries. You can go to the link I have there that says cctexas.com/library, click on virtual programming, and you'll be virtual programs in general, and it'll give you a breakdown of all the videos. Just click on it and it should send you to the YouTube. Subscribe to it if you haven't already. And of course, please like the Facebook page. If you need help finding books, while you're on the website, use the new book alerts, author check, and book newsletter, or you can call our two great over here assistants here. Call us and we can help you find those books. If you need anything historical fiction wise, I'm going to go with Robin. Can help you on that one.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Avian has her expertise as well if you're into the manga or anime. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you want to have a debate about pigeon and elephant, she's there.
You want to fight over the children's books?
You can fight over the children's books with me. Now, here's the longer link, of course. If you want to type all of that in, you can. But I would just go to cctexas.com/library and just click on virtual program. Don't forget to use while you're there to also, if you haven't already, download the apps for Access 360 and Hoopla. They're great sources because a lot of these books we don't have on a shelf, but we have ordered for as an ebook or an audio. And of course, just like Misty had mentioned, sometimes depends on who's reading the book. That can make it even better. Now I'm gonna go ahead real quick, just let you, and I guess let Avian and Robin know next week's theme is very dear to me, and I'm more sure it's dear to all of us, is gonna be dealing with Mother's Day because we have our moms and we want to find books that they like. So books that I'm gonna be doing are gonna be books that deal with mothers, and this course is gonna be books that my mom actually reads. I don't read them, but I will tell you the books that she reads because it's about her, not me. It's going to be about her. So if y'all want to, you can pick ones that you would think that for your mom that she would like, or just books in general about Mother's Day, what is about making gifts, crafts, baking, whatever you want. It's going to be a day episode just all about moms. Okay, so I hope you join us. And of course, if you have any comments, we will probably have a display, probably also the books for moms as well. We'll put some out there for you to help you out if you need some ideas for Mother's Day as well. So as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.